Okay, on Christmas Day, 1964, I was at the Long Beach Arena. Sylvia and I were at the Long Beach Arena, and we caught James Brown and the Famous Flames, or James Brown and the Flames, whichever way you want to. And I bought that cape routine. In other words, he collapses on the stage. I thought, oh God, end of show. And then he staggers off, and then throws off the cape, and he's back out again.
The original, the ideal came together with him and Danny Ray, the Cape Man. But where he got the cape from was Gorgeous George. Because he liked the way Gorgeous George looked. He used to get in the ring and he would throw the cape back.
The wrestler.
Yeah, and the hair was pretty. So that's right up his alley, when it comes to the hair thing.
Was it George from Georgia too?
I'm not sure.
I think he was.
I'm really not sure, but that was one of his favorite. And that's where he got that routine from. That routine came from.
Well, he was big on TV in the 50s. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So that's where he got it from.
Okay. Now, what was the first... You recorded with your dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the first session you were on? What was the record?
Making Funky.
Okay.
Doing it to death.
Okay. Now, what do you remember about that session? How many pieces?
One take.
One take. Recorded where?
It was in New York.
Okay.
We had I forget the name of the studio we was at, but it was in New York.
Now, was this extemporaneous? So he wrote out his stuff, but it sounds like he's making it up as he goes along. Go ahead.
My father.
Just between you and me.
Yeah.
Not for the YouTube audience.
But I'm serious. He was a genius when it came to that, because he left all the mistakes. There was no second takes. There was no third takes. Whatever you got was so raw. Matter of fact, if he didn't have to mix it, he wouldn't have.
Yeah, I remember your passage in the book.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Yeah.
That's the way God intended
But I
it.
remember.
So you don't second guess God.
Well, you don't second guess God. You don't second guess yourself.
Okay.
See, that's what made my father such a genius. And what he did, he never second guessed himself. He never said, the first take usually, like Ray Charles and different guys like that. They would do take after take after take, and then finally you mess up, and they said, that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You done took 20 takes of everything. That's it. And that's the worst one. He went with the first thing on everything.
Now, I'm sure you're familiar with your father's body of work. Are there songs in there, hits, that you can spot mistakes that if it had been perfect, it wouldn't have sounded...
Give It Up, Turn Me Loose.
Go ahead.
Okay. In the beginning, it comes and he counts it off. 1, 2, and the horns didn't come in quite right. He said, okay, start all over again. All that's in the song.
Oh, okay.
He let's start all over again, and
it helps the song.
Second time. And nobody, you think that was
planned out?
No, but he left all that in there, and that's what made it so great. Because you look for that instance. Where he said start over again.
Right.
Because the horns didn't quite, they were all over the place. You might hear the sax come in, the trumpet came in a little late, but he said, come on, he said start all over again.
Oh, okay.
But it was in rhythm. You see, that's the thing about it. And so that was part of the song. He left that in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you were on Make It Funky. What other records were you on?
Later on, I got a chance. I was on a song called Gut Bucket. And that was later on. That was because I played my father really for 8 years, and I didn't play my father until I was about 40 years old.
No, you were on drums, or did you do double on guitar?
No, I was on guitar. I had guitar. Let me tell you a story about that.
You started out as a drummer?
As a drummer.
Okay.
For 30 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And I got the privilege, because he would want me to do it. Because let me tell you something. There's a song, I don't know if you can remember the song, where he's playing the drums. Okay, you know why he was playing the drum? Because the drummer said he had to get up and go to the bathroom. So he said, okay, well, I ain't got, I'll do it.
You got to share this. What's the song?
And when you can't, I got to think of the song. I can't think of it right this minute, but it was a song that he did. And he actually played the drums on it because the guy had to go to the bathroom.
So he never did the restroom song or the bathroom song? But he could have.
But by the time he got back from the bathroom, the song was cut.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of. But how I got that was funny, because back in 1969, him and my grandfather, Joe Brown, when he lived in St. Albans, Queens, on Linden Boulevard, before he moved to Augusta. He moved to Augusta in 1969, but just before he moved to Augusta, he had brought me a drum set and a guitar.
Now, when you say he, you're referring
my father.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad.
Okay.
He bought me a drum set and a guitar. Him and my grandfather, Joe Brown. you know, and that's where that kind of began. But see, I've been playing drums since I was about 6 years old. You know, I had a little beat up. I used to beat my mother's chairs up. You know the old. Remember the old chairs that had the straw.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I used to beat the heck out of them. So that's how I started playing both. But before that, I was just playing drums, and then I just automatically just started playing the guitar. And the first thing I started playing was his song, one of his songs, and that was "I Feel Good."
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I just started. You know, I knew it. You know, it felt so natural to me. You know.
As far as your father was concerned, what was the songwriting process like?
First take, man. I mean,
I know that, but
think about.
But he had a song written down, or did he not? Or was it in his head?
In his head.
Really?
See, he was smart enough to have people around him where they can interpret what he's trying to get across. You know?
So, but did the musicians have charts, or did they just?
Yeah, charts.
But how did they know the melody? How did they know?
There's no music theory. Throw that.
It's just
if we go ask you,
Yeah.
throw music theory out the window, man.
Okay.
Music theory keeps you in a box.
So it's the funk sound.
it just is.
So they followed his
works.
vocals?
Because right now you can't even. To this day, if you go musical theory wise, right, you can't write this stuff. Like Cold Sweat, I break out in a cold sweat. You cannot write that because it's theoretically incorrect.
So how did the horns know when to punch that?
Because this is what I'm telling you.
He points to them and says, "Do it."
He's surrounded himself with people that can interpret everything that he says.
So it's ESP. It's like
It's you know,
It's like
you could say that. You could say some of
nonverbal
that.
communication.
Yeah, it's just, you know, he come in. He said, okay, you play that and this, you play that, put this right here and put that right there. Go.
okay. So that was the direction to the band.
That was direction. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
You know,
that's what I'm asking
yeah,
about.
Yeah, that was the direction of the
Nothing.
band.
So he
Nothing
would
strenuous.
prep them a little bit.
He would always prep them. You know, he tell them the bass player play this. Okay. No, first he started with the drums. Get the drum beats right. Then he had the bass player come in and play. Then he would have the guitar player play his parts. Okay. They played for a few minutes. And the horns. He did everything right there. There was no day before thinking about anything. He just went and see. A lot of times he took the band straight from the stage into the studio because they were hot that night.
Oh, okay.
You see, and so whatever ideas he had in his mind, he knew he could get because they were hot. You know, and he said he'd take them right in the studio, and everything was done on the spot. So the only thing that I remember that was done, and it was some thought to it. That's Black and Proud. Because when he did Black and Proud, okay, he wrote that song. He wrote the lyrics to that song about 2:00 in the morning. Called Mr. Charles Bob and said, "I want you to find me 100 kids, as many as you can." This is 4:00 in the morning, and by 7, I think it was 7 or 8, 9, they were in the studio.
Now I read accounts that the kids were white.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because the story has been disseminated that these were kids from the hood,
No.
but they were from a different hood.
Yeah. But you know, I mean,
You were there?
Yeah. No.
You were, but you heard
I was
about
too
it.
young.
Okay, so when Make It Funky, when you were on that, had you been at a show just prior to that, and you recorded it off?
No.
Okay, that was.
No, I learned that the same day.
Oh, okay.
You know, because he just liked the way I played drum. But I didn't know he really didn't want me to play drum. He wanted me to play guitar. I never knew that until he offered me the job. He told me, he said, you're going to be my third guitar player. And that came from a night because he loved the way I played rhythm. He said, I've never seen rhythm played like that. He used to compare me to Cheese and Jimmy Nolan. And I'm looking at him like, really? You really think I'm that bad? He said, son, I've never seen it played like that. So now I have to learn something all over again, and I knew I was going to catch it. And that was because one night we were just jamming. That was one night, 2 nights before they were getting ready to have rehearsal. And me and him was just jamming, you know, just because I didn't have no drums there, so I had a guitar that he had. No, I didn't have a guitar. His guitar, Vox. Okay, you remember Vox. Okay, Vox, it was only one group and one singer that had Vox. And that was, you know, that came, was the Beatles and James Brown. They were the only two that had that endorsement. So,
Now, you mentioned Jimmy Nolan.
Yeah.
He was, that's
Jimmy Nolan's been there for a long time.
Yeah, those are pretty.
Sinclair
heavy.
Pinkney. Sinclair Pinkney, the saxophone player. Been there a long time.
Yeah, Jimmy Nolan are big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
he was with Johnny Otis in the 50s and had.
Exactly. So you know, I'm saying, and the type of guitar he had, I mean, the way it was set up was like bob wires, the string. Because I used to play his guitar, and that's how I started. You know, every time I said, I know where you want to go. Because my job in the summertime was shine the shoes, pack the clothes up, and iron, help Miss Gertrude Saunders. That was my job every summer. That's what I did.
Starting at what age?
At 9.
Oh, okay.
At 9.
That's about time you get a full-time gig. You're not,
man.
huh?
You know, I mean, it was good money. I mean, I made $150 a week. That's good money back
Yeah,
then.
not too many 9-year-olds, but
Yeah, they make money.
making in the 3 figures a week.
Because I remember coming home and I went to visit my mother and I went straight to Blue Rose music store and bought my drum set. You know, and I was just like, this is the greatest.
One of the